Your grandparents didn't live with you? Did they live nearby?
My grandparents did not live with us. My grandparents lived in a neighborhood that wasn't so close to us. They lived in Colonia del Valle or in Alamos. Those were neighborhoods. The pattern of the Mexican Jewish immigration from Eastern Europe is more or less as follows. When arriving to Mexico City after being in the coast or in different towns, congregating in Mexico City as most Jews did at that time, they first settled in what is right now downtown being the Centro Histórico, the historical center of the city, where the cathedral and the Alameda Central, the Central Park, is, and in other major buildings, and where the city, the Spanish city, was built on top of the Aztec city that once existed there in the 16th century. The Jews settled there because it was a business area and because there was already an infrastructure there of old buildings that probably at that time must have been affordable and where the first immigrants arrived and started to have all sorts of tentacles and ramifications. My grandparents arrived first there, the first philanthropic institutions, the first mikvah, the first Yiddish language school, the first shul, the first synagogue were all based there. And as the community became more solvent, as they became more diversified in terms of work and of professions, they started moving out. Think of the Lower East Side, the equivalent of the Jews moving to Long Island or moving to different parts of Queens or New York City. And one of the, or two of the neighborhoods where they first settled after moving out of downtown was Alamos, and the other one was Colonia del Valle. They were more or less to the south of downtown Mexico City. And the second generation, that is the children of the immigrants, were the ones that came of age. My mother and my father came of age in those neighborhoods. When my father met my mother, they really saw themselves as not belonging to the Mexican Jewish community because of the stern, strict voice that my grandmother, Bella, my father's mother, had. And that meant that they wanted to live as far away from Colonia del Valle and Alamos as they could. And they found a place which is called a neighborhood called Copilco in the southern part of the city, next to the big university, the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, which goes by the acronym UNAM, where I wasn't born there, but where I spent most of my childhood. It was a very left-leaning neighborhood, full of intellectuals and artists and doctors and politicians. And that neighborhood defined me forever because of the bookstores that it had, the coffee places, and because it meant that we were Jewish, but we were not with the Jewish community, that my father and mother had created this little bastion where other rebels, some of whom were Jews. This is the place where Frida Kahlo, not too far from it, had lived, where Leon Trotsky had also lived, Diego Rivera. So it was the place where it was cool and hype to be an actor and eventually to become a writer. And that was a neighborhood where there were not many Jews. And the Jews that existed there, the Jews that lived there, were rebel Jews, were Jews with an attitude, so to speak.